This is CBC Here and Now.
All hands on deck. It was that kind of day. You're looking at a live shot of folks enjoying the nice weather down at the Keg and Jack Astor's in St. John's, right there on the waterfront. 18 degrees right now and kind of breezy in St. John's. Some rain on the way tonight. We'll have all your details coming up.
Beatrice Hunter's time behind bars is over, and she's now allowed to protest near Muskrat Falls.
Charged, this single vehicle crash left a young woman partially paralyzed. Now, the driver has a court date.
There's always a feeling of open arms and people wanting to help.
After this home was destroyed in Hibbs Cove, the communities rallied around the family. Our top story tonight, free to go. Innu protester Beatrice Hunter heard that message from a judge in Happy Valley Goose Bay today. Hunter
spent 10 full days behind bars for refusing to adhere to a court order to stay away from the Muskrat Falls site.
Here now's Jacob Barker joins us live tonight with the details. Jacob?
Well, there were tears of joy both inside and outside the courthouse here in Happy Valley Goose Bay today as Beatrice Hunter was released. Those that came out to support her gave her a hero's welcome as she came out of the courthouse. It was a moment family and members of the Labrador Land Protectors group had been waiting for. Her release, a victory for all who came out.
It showed how fearless we are.
Yeah!
How resilient we are.
Yeah!
And that there's nothing we can't do.
Yeah!
Court began today with some tension as lawyers for Hunter and Nalcor said they'd reached a deal late last night, but Justice Murphy said there was more than just Nalcor's concerns at play. He said the court had concerns that the rule of law had to be respected, as well as the court's orders. Hunter says her defiance of the court was on purpose.
Every time I've gone to court, I haven't stood up every time the judge walked in. It was my way of defying laws that my ancestors had no part in writing.
1, 2, 3, 4, we won't back down from Nalcor.
Nalcor's allegations were that Hunter twice broke a court-ordered injunction not to enter or block the entrance to the Muskrat Falls site. She also signed a court document stating she wouldn't come within 1 kilometer of the site. Today, Justice Murphy left the 1 kilometer buffer in place, but agreed to amend the rule to allow Hunter to protest across the street from the main gate.
Yes, I'm sticking to that agreement. I obviously don't want to go back to jail. But at least I can protest with my people. I can protest with my people. Yeah.
Nalcor today said that it understands the need and the rights of Hunter and others to lawfully protest. It said it would like to set up a meeting with Hunter in the hopes of starting a dialogue. Reporting live for Here and Now in Happy Valley Goose Bay, I'm Jacob Barker.
The man who was behind the wheel in a crash that crippled a young woman is now facing charges. The rollover accident happened weeks ago in St. John's. The charges mean that police believe the driver is criminally responsible. Here and Now's Cease Here reports.
It happened in seconds. A snowy morning on a slippery highway. The Honda crashed and rolled over and over, landing on its side by Pitts Memorial Drive at the Trans-Canada Highway. As the car flipped, Morgan Party was ejected. She was the passenger not wearing a seatbelt. Emergency crews found her on the ground, paralyzed from the waist down. Today, more fallout from the horrific crash. The driver is facing charges. 21-year-old Joshua Steele Young of Conception Bay South has been charged with dangerous driving causing bodily harm. A day after the crash, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary put out a call asking other drivers who may have seen the accident. The community rallied behind the young woman to help the family. Coffee Matters, where her mom used to work, got the ball rolling with a fundraiser and raised $7,000. Performers and musicians banded together too and organized a benefit concert for Party, even playing to the 21-year-old in hospital on a Saturday afternoon in early April. In late April, Party's Eastern Academy graduating class hosted a fundraiser in support of her recovery as well. To date, online, a GoFundMe campaign has climbed to just over $30,000. Morgan Party is still in the early stages of rehabilitation, learning to live with her disability. Steele Young, the accused, will be in court on Friday, June 16th. Cease here, CBC News, St. John's.
Labrador Innu are questioning the federal government's commitment to reconciliation with Indigenous Canadians. They point to hundreds of millions of dollars pumped into Canada 150 celebrations. Innu leaders claim federal money for child welfare services has dried up. Here Now's Mark Quinn reports.
Innu leaders hadn't planned to do this, but after meeting with federal government bureaucrats in St. John's, they felt compelled to speak out.
We're angry, we're frustrated, and it's time for the governments to stop telling us what to do.
Innu and the Labrador communities of Sheshi and Natwashish are looking for federal money to build 2 group homes and 3 emergency placement facilities. The goal is to treat Innu children in their hometowns instead of sending them away.
We have the facilities now, both communities. We're just ready to go, but we can't do anything without funding.
But the leaders left yesterday's meetings empty-handed. And as the country prepares to celebrate its 150th birthday, Innu leaders fear talk of reconciliation is hollow.
There's $500 million being spent on Canada celebrations. And what do we celebrate? We celebrate suicide, fires, families being torn apart, children being taken away. Is that what we're celebrating?
When the Minister of Indigenous and Northern Affairs Canada was in Newfoundland last December, she said the federal government is committed to reconciliation with Indigenous people. But today, her department hasn't responded to CBC's request for comment on the Innu leaders' concerns. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
In the meantime, the federal government has announced that a former Labrador judge will oversee a section of the residential school settlement agreement involving this province. James Iglo-Liorte will be responsible for the healing and commemoration aspect of the deal. Over and above the $50 million settlement, Ottawa is funding projects and community sessions that will involve the former residential school students and their families.
Well, a fisherman who was on a boat that sank in heavy sea ice this week is relieved he and his crew are back on land. Several boats left Lassie on Tuesday to fish for crab, but they ran into trouble with the thick ice almost immediately after leaving the harbor. The ice was so thick, Coast Guard couldn't even get out to help them. On Wednesday, one of the boats started taking on water, and that's when a Cormorant helicopter was called into action to rescue the crew. Joey Sacre was skipper of that vessel.
It was actually like nothing short of amazing what they do in situations like this. So they sent out the big rescue chopper. They throw down a line, like a guy extends from a line like down to the ice, explains to us what's going to happen, and then they hoist us all up one by one. The boat sank. Yes, we couldn't save the boat. You know, that's always a big blow, but at the end of the day, like, a boat is a boat, right? No lives were lost. We all came out without a scratch. And it could have been a lot worse than that. So, I mean, the boat, you kind of just have to chalk up to a loss at this point.
Still with this story, there's relief on the way for fish harvesters affected by severe ice conditions. Just an hour ago, the federal government announced the Ice Emergency Assistance Program. A total of $5 million will go to fishers in this province and Quebec who've been prevented from fishing because of pack ice. There's no word on when or how people can apply for the program.
Some sailors in a transatlantic sailing race are in trouble in the mid-Atlantic. The Halifax Joint Rescue Coordination Centre has dispatched planes and ships to help several vessels in trouble about 1,600 kilometers east of Newfoundland. This is the tracking map the Royal Western Yacht Club of England uses to show where the vessels are. The boats apparently have damage to their hulls and rigging. Conditions in the area include storm to hurricane force winds and 15-meter seas.
The Progressive Conservatives are getting together in Gander. A special general meeting of the party kicks off this weekend. Here Now's Garrett Barry gives us a taste of what's on the menu.
The series of resolutions on the table would change the rules for leadership races. The PCs are hoping to open those up and allow every member and supporter the right to vote for their party leader. It would be the end of delegate meetings. New rules could draw more people into the Tory fold. They will be voted on tomorrow, but the talk of the top Tories, likely the chatter surrounding Paul Davis. He said in October he would quit, but with polls looking good, rumors swirl Davis might take another shot at the PC leadership. He said yesterday he would keep that door open.
What's everybody doing now?
Paul Davis is expected to address this room tomorrow, and this meeting might be a chance for him and others to work the room, gauge their support, shake some hands. Candidates might be able to jump in once the leadership rules are set. Garrett Barry, CBC News, Gander.
A report says Alberta's government endangered lives by failing to communicate crucial information about the Fort McMurray wildfire. The reports show the city was unprepared for the fire. For instance, on the morning of May 3rd last year, the provincial incident commander realized strong wind would likely blow the wildfire into Fort McMurray. But that information wasn't shared with firefighters in the community. Instead, government officials held a news conference to warn that fire conditions were extreme. 2 hours later, the wildfire was burning within 1.2 kilometers of the city. The fire destroyed 2,400 homes and buildings.
Earlier this week, fire destroyed a 2-story home in Hibbs Cove near Bay Roberts. A couple and their 2 sons lost everything. Seeing the family in need, their community has decided to help. Here and Now's Peggy Lamb has that story.
Tuesday morning in Hibbs Cove, a raging fire. It was so intense there wasn't much that firefighters could do to save it. This is all that's left. The 2-story house was a home. Terry and Gwanita Stead and their 2 sons lost everything, from old photographs to their car.
You know, this 4-wheeler was there, and that's a staple of rural life in Newfoundland. You gotta have your 4-wheeler.
Bill Strong is the Reverend at St. Luke's Anglican Church in Hibbs Cove. The church is hosting a fundraiser for the Stead family. The fire happened on Tuesday, just right behind us here. Reverend Strong says when he went home that day and found out about it, his Facebook and his phone were filled with messages of support, and he was overwhelmed. People just wanted to help the Stead family.
The wonderful aspects of a place like this, people have, there's always a feeling of open arms and people wanting to help. So that's one of the nice things about a place like Hibbs Cove and Portagrave.
The church is collecting donations at their monthly Jubilee night. Others are also pitching in, like this daycare owner in South River. She's asking parents to drop off clothing, toiletries, and school supplies for the Steads at her business.
That wasn't my intention to get attention or anything like that. Just that when I heard about it, I just felt the need to reach out, for us to reach out and try to reach out to other people to help in any way that we could.
The fundraiser is set for next Tuesday right here at St. Luke's Church Hall. It's going to be a chance for people to come out and socialize and sing their country gospel songs. Reverend Strong says he hopes they'll be able to raise at least a couple of $100s for the family. Peggy Lamb, CBC News, Hibbs Cove.
Accused murderer Trent Butt has been stabbed at Her Majesty's Penitentiary in St. John's. Sources tell CBC that the incident happened yesterday and his injuries are not considered serious. Butt is in prison awaiting trial for the murder of his 5-year-old daughter, Quinn. She was found in Butt's burnt-out home in Carbonear in April 2016. Butt's first-degree murder and arson trial is scheduled for 2018. The weather is making headlines today, but not because of our often miserable weather.
No, and if you can believe it, it's the sun that has people talking. More on that in about 3 minutes.
And later we'll hear what Beatrice Hunter had to say this morning after a judge released her from prison.
This weather update is brought to you by the Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 400 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
And we're going to get to the all-important weekend weather in just a minute, but we want to show you some nice visitors we had here at the studio after Here and Now last night.
Yes, these are the 28th Girl Guides from Bishopsfield School in St. John's, along with their guide leaders. The girls are in grades 4 to 6.
Yes, they're playing with the green screen, which is always very, very popular.
And they're also listening to you and Debbie talk about the work that you normally do here on set. Yeah. And they were very impressed with that. And playing with all the toys that we have here, which are technically not toys.
Teleprompter, yeah. Lots of great questions.
Yeah, lots of great questions.
It was a really, really nice time.
Certainly did. We had a lot of fun. I learned a lot.
Well, it was a gorgeous day today for sure. Things are going to change tonight, though. Let's have a look at the weather that is on the way. Friday night, tonight, Some rain is on the way. It's going to start in the west of the island and march east throughout the evening. So if you're heading out tonight, you're going to want to bring your rain jacket. And that means that it's going to be a wet start to your Saturday, at least on the island. Things will start to clear off as the day goes on, though, so that's good. And we're in for a gorgeous Sunday for those in the east and in central. So I'll get to all of those details. First, quick warning to tell you about wreck house wind warning. Gusts could get up to 120 kilometers an hour there tonight. Looking ahead to how the evening is unfolding, you can see these showers that are sweeping across Labrador right now, and this is the system that is just bearing down on the island at the moment. So you can see by the time we get to 11 o'clock, midnight, the entire island is going to be engulfed with these showers. About 5 to 10 millimeters expected there, so some heavy showers happening here around midnight. And Happy Valley Goose Bay, about 5 to 15 millimeters expected there, and there's actually a risk of some thunder showers in that area tonight. So that'll continue on through until Saturday morning and linger around for a while, but then later it'll start to move out. But first, let's have a look at your morning temperatures. This is what you're going to wake up to tomorrow morning on the island. Fairly cool temperatures in the single digits, kind of the upper single digits. Cooler in Labrador, Nain, just 2 degrees when you get up tomorrow morning, and lots of showers right across the board. So this is how your Saturday is looking. You can see all of those showers right through from southeastern Labrador down to the Avalon Peninsula. That will start to move off even at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can see that this will start to move. We have some cloud cover, but things are improving as the day progresses. So here we are at 3 o'clock. Might even see some sunny patches down here, and Lab City clearing off quite nicely there as well. Lingering showers on the northern peninsula and through southeastern Labrador by Saturday night. But you can see Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, the Avalon is looking pretty good. So yeah, if you have any outdoor plans on Saturday night, it might actually be quite nice. This is what we're looking at for St. John's anyways. 8 degrees start to your day with some drizzly gray weather, but that will clear off. 14 degrees in the afternoon with some cloud there, but it will start to clear off even more as the evening moves in, and 15 degrees by 7 o'clock tomorrow, so that's not too bad. Here's a look at some other temperatures across the province. 17 degrees as a high on the Avalon Peninsula as you move into central Newfoundland. 15 degrees is kind of the average temperature there. Cooler in Twillingate with 9 degrees there. On the west coast, it's going to be pretty breezy there tomorrow. 15 degrees in Corner Brook, Humber Valley, moving on up to the Straits. Cooler still, lots of showers, 9 degrees in St. Anthony and 10 in Cartwright. And for the rest of Labrador, pretty nice day in Lab City, 14 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Clear in Nain as well, 10 degrees there. So Saturday morning is not great, but Sunday is looking quite good. I'll tell you all about that later. Debbie?
Thanks, Carolyn. Well, still with the weather, we know it often makes headlines in this province, and today was no exception. But unlike the rain, drizzle, fog, and frigid temperatures that we've had lately, today's weather brought out the smiles and the sunscreen. And our Terry Roberts just had to get out and enjoy it. Have a look at his sun-soaked report.
It's been one of those weeks at the CBC. Lots of serious news as usual. Politics, oil and gas, crime and punishment. Well, it's Friday, probably the warmest day so far of the year. So, what do I do on a Friday to lighten things up? Well, what most other people are going to do. Get out of the office, get out of the house, and go for a walk.
People drawn by this bright light in the sky. The first day the mercury was over 20 since last fall. It got these grade 1ers from St. Peter's in a good mood for their field trip, and this grandmother making sure her grandson was protected.
So what do you think of this weather today?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. It's great to see the kids get out for their field day and have a great day with it.
All over the park. Relief, thankfulness, people freed by the sun.
It's a great break from the fog and the cold, you know?
New season, new life. Talking and smiling, babies sleeping.
Oh, it helps a lot for the new moms who've been stuck inside all winter, so it's nice.
Right, okay, so what will you do here today?
We're just going for a walk and probably relax for a little while, have a picnic.
Flowers stretching towards the sky, soaking in every ray. If they could talk, they'd probably say things like this.
We've got some absolutely gorgeous weather today. It's really nice. There's a ton of people here at the park. It's really nice to actually have good weather here for the first time in a long time.
Loving the weather. Finally, we got a little bit of sun out of it. Hopefully it keeps up.
What does a day like this do for your mood?
Oh, it's a real upper. It really makes you feel happy and cheerful.
So there you have it, over 20 degrees here right now in Bowring Park. What a hardship assignment. I think I'll actually feel maybe a tinge of guilt filling in my time card on this assignment. Not really. Terry Roberts, CBC News in Bowring Park, St. John's.
Up next, an update on a project to document and preserve the history of Her Royal Majesty's Penitentiary in St. John's. We'll hear why the work is stalled. Welcome back to Here and Now. We return to our top story this evening, Beatrice Hunter's release from jail. Now, Hunter defied a judge's order to stay away from the Muskrat Falls entrance. That landed her behind bars, including some time at HMP in St. John's. Now today, in Happy Valley Goose Bay, she was released after a judge changed the terms of her undertaking. She's now allowed to protest only from across the street from the site. Now, she spoke with Here and Now's Jacob Barker earlier today.
Yes, I'm sticking to that agreement. I obviously don't want to go back to jail, but at least I can protest with my people. I can protest with my people. Yeah.
What do you think about all the attention that this has received while you were in HMG?
When I said no, I wasn't expecting that much support, and there's so many people to thank. First of all, there's my family who stuck beside me even though I went to jail. The female inmates at HMP who took care of me while I was in jail. My God, who took care of me all the way, flying all the way to St. John's and being in jail and coming back. I prayed every day, hoping nothing would happen to me. For the Labrador land protectors, as soon as I got arrested, who cheered for me. I can't thank them enough because the court system definitely knows how to make you feel alone. If you hadn't noticed already, I was in defiant of the court system because I know our ancestors had no say in how those laws were written. So if you've noticed, every time I've gone to court, I haven't stood up every time the judge walked in. It was my way of defying laws that my ancestors had no part in writing.
Well, some developing news to tell you about now. The RCMP are reporting a forest fire in Bunyan's Cove. The community is on the south side of Claude Sound, about 15 minutes from Port Blandford in Bonavista Bay. The local fire department is battling the flames, and police are asking people to use caution if they're driving in the area. Well, now we have an update on a story about one man's efforts to preserve a piece of our history. 2 years ago, we spoke with David Harvey, a retired guard from Her Majesty's Penitentiary. He was trying to get historical documents dating back to the mid-1800s digitized and preserved. Now it seems things have come to a halt. The CBC's Ariana Kelland visited his makeshift crime museum and has this report.
Words fading, pages ripped. This is one of many prison ledgers and documents on Newfoundland and Labrador's long and fascinating criminal justice system, the oldest from 1838, when the prison was on Duckworth Street.
The old documents have just seen better days. They are starting to get old. The ink fades away and you can't read them. So I want to get that stuff out of here before it gets too bad.
Harvey rescued the documents from this cold, damp basement inside the prison and created this makeshift museum in the HMP administration building. But he wants it out of here and into a place where the pages can be kept forever. Built in the Victorian era, witness to 5 hangings, this prison is history rich, and Harvey says it's worth saving. It sounds simple enough, but there seems to be a catch.
The Department of Justice are concerned about what we give away and can we get it back here again if need be.
Back here if, and there are lots of ifs. If a new penitentiary is ever built, and if plans for a new pen include a museum behind bars. A justice official says they're working on moving the items if the deal is the treasures can come back. In the meantime, this former correctional officer turned museum curator is helping bridge family genealogy and saving bits of history.
I may not think about down here for a month, but all of a sudden one little thing I hear about, and that will send me up to the archives or brings me back down here again, and it kind of renews my interest in it.
crumbling artifacts documenting a crumbling prison. David Harvey hopes someone will step in to save history. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
We'll have a look at this live shot down Lakeside, Kitty Vitty Lake. Despite the wind, a fairly calm evening on the lake tonight on the water. It's actually 54 days until Regatta Day. We have clouds moving in tonight. You can see they're in the sky at the moment, but looking forward to a gorgeous Sunday. We'll have your long-range forecast coming up.
Well, there are lots of questions about the legalization of marijuana, which comes into effect next July. And with the clock ticking, the provincial government has some hard decisions to make. Who's going to be able to buy it and who's going to sell it? And you're going to have your say. Andrew Parsons is the Minister of Justice, and he's in the studio. Thanks very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
1 year, that's not a whole lot of time. It is galloping to implement a whole system, but you have to be ready. But how well will you be ready?
I'm really confident, actually. You know, we've got a tremendous number of people that are working behind the scenes. They've been working since well before the actual timeline was announced. There's a committee across government because it's amazing that this legislation, you know, the cannabis itself, there's so many different departments that are involved, but it's chaired by Justice and Health. They've been working quite a bit. And one of the first things we wanted to do, though, was to make sure that the public had a say. I mean, this is a huge public policy issue across the nation. It's a big topic, and we wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to hear what, you know, residents had to say about these big issues that you mentioned in the preamble.
You've launched a website.
Yep. As of today, www.engagenl.ca. It's basically a 10 to 20 minute questionnaire. I think it's got 14 questions on it. And it also has access to things like the Federal Task Force on Marijuana, like their recommendations and reports. And so it is anonymous. The only information we really need to collect is age, demographic, and location of the province. But it's a chance for people to have their say and let us know their viewpoints on what should the age be. 18, 19, 25. Where should you be purchasing? Should it be at an NLC? Should it be at a dispensary, a pharmacy, a corner store? So it's an opportunity for the general public to have their say on this, plus the fact that we'll also next week be doing invitations to targeted stakeholders, whether it's doctors, business groups, you name it, and those will be going out next week.
Now, you did mention some of the things that the public is going to be asked to comment on, one of them being distribution. We do hear, of course, about pharmacies, the liquor stores, there's this whole network. I mean, what are you looking at, the pros and cons of doing these?
Well, this is exactly it, is that we have to look at the pros and cons of each. One of the big things that the federal task force came back with is you shouldn't co-locate cannabis and alcohol. They don't want to normalize that, that, you know, when you go in to buy alcohol, that you should be picking up cannabis as well, because we got to keep in mind, even though we're legalizing, we're also trying to keep across that this is not something we want youth doing. I mean, it does have an effect on brain chemistry and brain development. But the fact is, it is out there, and we need to legalize. We need to be ready.
So if the liquor stores seem to be not advisable, what are the routes, like standalone shops? What are you looking at?
This is the thing, and we have to look and see what's out there. We have, and that being said, just because it recommended not co-locating, that doesn't mean that we can't take steps to make them feasible. I mean, something like NLC, a Crown Corporation, has significant infrastructure already across the province. The big point we want to get out is there's absolutely nothing set in stone. There's no preconceived notions here. We want to hear about what are the different options, what are the pros and cons of each, taking into consideration the federal task force. And our province is different than every other province. We have our own ways here, our own rules, our own demographics and realities that we need to consider.
I want to get back to the age issue. Like you said, the federal task force, they have commented on that. They're recommending 18. Doctors are saying too young, should be 21 or above for brain development. How difficult an issue is that to deal with? Because if you make it too high, they're going to turn to the street to get it.
Well, this is the thing, and we have to keep a number of factors in mind, and this is probably one of the bigger decisions that many people have a viewpoint on. You know, we already have alcohol, that's 19. We have medical evidence that suggests it should be 25. We have to recognize the fact that we do have youth that are already using. We need to keep that in mind. So there's a number of things. It's not the same as alcohol in the sense that it does affect brain chemistry at an early age. We have to keep that in mind as well. And you know, there's so many factors. We want to hear from everybody. The big thing that I put out there is that, you know, I have my views based on what I've seen so far and what I've learned. It's really been an education for me. But we want to hear what other people have to say, and we have to make a decision that's based on evidence.
Well, we're out of time, Minister, but when is the cutoff for people to get their comments to you?
June 30th is the end date for the online questionnaire, www.engagenl.ca. And people should have every opportunity to get online, to have their say, to provide their comments. June 30th is the cutoff on that part, and we'll also be doing some other forms of consultation. You know, we really want to reach out to the public on this.
Minister Andrew Parsons, thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, with the sun high in the sky and temperatures rising, downtown St. John's was a busy spot. As you saw in our live shot off the top, the patios are still full. So there were walkers, runners, and sun seekers all hitting the street to enjoy the first really nice day of spring. So I naturally had to pop downtown to see what people were saying on a sunny Friday afternoon. What do you think of the spring thus far?
We missed that. That was a missed opportunity for sure.
So what does it feel like to be out here now with the sun on your face today?
Oh, it feels fantastic.
So what are you guys up to today?
Oh, just came out to enjoy the beautiful weather, man.
So what do you got? What's on tap for today?
Oh, India for sure.
And how does it feel to be able outside having a nice cold beer on the first hot day of the year?
Perfect, man. You can't complain.
It's great. It's nice and warm. It's refreshing. Refreshing, yeah.
These young boys and girls here, the grade 6 class of St. Joseph's Elementary in Harbour Breton, and we've been in St. John's since Wednesday.
What's been the best part about being in St. John's?
There's lots of good weather away from all the rain and all that.
It's pretty amazing. Like when I left school today, like you get that feeling when you leave a room in the summer when it's like a wave of heat, and I felt that, and it was it's really refreshing, and I'm really pumped for summer now.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
Oh, but we will be taking the sunshine away just for a little bit, though.
Well, we want to brighten up things before we get to the downturn in the weather. And look, here they are, the Osprey Nest Cam. We've been checking in every now and again, keeping tabs on them over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, so Newfoundland Power set up this camera at its Virginia Water substation in St. John's. An osprey is nesting there, as you can see, preciously taking care of its 3 eggs, which you can't see.
Oh, I can't wait for them to hatch.
And by the way, if you want to take a look at this osprey, just head to the website you're seeing there. Oh, I don't see it. It was there.
There it is, back again.
Yeah, and it's just fascinating. It's just, you can't take your eyes off it when it's on the screen. And of course, the the partner is gone to get some food, perhaps.
So, so speaking of nature, have a look at this. Mother Nature's dive bombers. These gannets were seen adhering in the waters near Summerford yesterday. Can we just this? Look at that. Boom, 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 boom.
Incredible.
Yeah, look, slow-mo.
Now this is video actually from the BBC. So we got this off of YouTube. We just wanted to show you what it looks like in slow motion.
Gets them to enormous forces.
Isn't that amazing?
It's incredible, but that original footage that we saw off the top was actually sent in to us by Lori Ann Goodyear. Got to look at the right camera, right? Number 3. Yeah, keep that in mind, Jeremy. First week. So thanks again, Lori Ann Goodyear, for sending in that video. That was incredible. We watched that over. You could watch that on a loop. It was
It's really, really neat. All right, so let's get right to the weather and see what's coming this weekend. I'm going to start with a satellite shot. You can see this system that is over Atlantic Canada moving right towards the island this evening. This is going to cause a wet start to our Saturday. Here's a look at some highs tomorrow. Rain right across the board in the morning and early afternoon on the island. 17 degrees tomorrow, mid-teens in central and west, and it's going to be nice and sunny actually in Nain tomorrow, 10 degrees and 14 in Lab City. So as the day moves on, the showers will move off for some areas. It'll linger along the northern peninsula and in parts of Labrador, but it's actually going to turn fairly clear as we get into the evening hours, and then we have another system that is headed our way right towards Labrador west. So that will continue on east throughout Sunday. So it means that it's going to be a wet day for much of Labrador on Sunday. And then it's going to head to the island as well. And Corner Brook up the northern peninsula, it's going to be fairly wet for you as well throughout Sunday. But in the east and in central, for the most part, we will be spared. Here's a look at how your Sunday is looking. In St. John's in the east, 19 degrees with sun and clouds. So that sounds like a nice day to get out and do stuff. In central Newfoundland, similar situation, 19 degrees with some sun and cloud. On the west coast, you'll have those showers, but at least it'll still be warm, and showers across Labrador as well, but still mild temperatures in the upper double digits. So through Saturday night, those showers are going to start moving towards the east, and you can see some of these cold spots here in the Torngat Mountains and up around Nain. So we'll see how that materializes overnight on Monday. And as you start your work week, it'll be fairly clear on the island and in Lab West, but some showers there along the coastline. So we'll have a chance of showers in the east as well as that system moves across, but 17 on Monday afternoon and 19 in central and in Labrador in the mid-teens there as well. So things are actually going to start to cool down. It looks like a bit of a cooling trend happening next week. 8 degrees on Friday, still a long way out. So I wouldn't totally bank on that right now, but still not looking so great. And a nice day coming in Lab East on Thursday, 17 degrees, and solid 10 degrees on Friday of next week, but we'll see what that will bring.
Okay, let's meet our young athlete of the day. Today, it's Nathan Ross, 9 years old, from Torbay. Nathan enjoys a lot of sports, but his true passion is hockey.
Yes, his favorite NHL team is the Montreal Canadiens. He plays novice with Northeast Eagles, and this season he played with the novice select team as well. His team recently won silver in the Avalon Celtics Novice Invitational Tournament.
Congratulations, buddy. We salute you as our young athlete of the day.
Back now to the developing story from Bonavista Bay. We now have pictures from the forest fire burning in the area. The RCMP has confirmed that a forest fire is burning in Bunyan's Cove. That community is located about 15 minutes from Port Blandford. The local fire department is battling the flames along with a water bomber, and police are asking people tonight to use caution if they're driving in the area as traffic control is in effect.
Job creation in Canada is strong. A net total of 55,000 full-time positions were created in May. Now here's a look at some other key numbers. More than 25,000 new manufacturing jobs were created in Canada, and Canada has produced more than 316,000 jobs in the past year. Private sector hiring has been very strong, with 59,000 new jobs added, and one of Canada's key economic engines, Alberta, showed more signs of a comeback. The jobless rate there shrank to 7.8%.
A popular yogurt brand is issuing a widespread recall due to risk of plastic pieces in its products. Ultima Foods says 7 of its yogurt products are included in the recall. They include several of their Nano Kids items as well as their smoothie packs. The products were sold in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is investigating and says more recalls could be announced. The agency advises anyone with the recalled items to throw them out or return them to the store where they were purchased. And you can find more information online at healthycanadians.gc.ca.
Well, here's Here's a live shot of Bannerman Park in St. John's. Lots of children out enjoying the playground there. Lovely evening to be outdoors. Some cloud moving in, maybe a few showers, but that's not happening until much later tonight. And here we are, a look at the pool in Bannerman Park. Not open quite yet. You wouldn't want to be in there, but it will be opening on July 2nd.
It's a tradition here on Fridays. Let's have a look at who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Congratulations to David and Paula Taylor of St. John's, celebrating their 50th anniversary tomorrow, June 10th. Happy birthday to Pierce Brenton of Norris Arm, who was 93 years old on the 3rd. Happy 63rd wedding anniversary to Charlie and Alvina Easton of Clarenville, who'll celebrate this coming Monday. Happy 90th birthday to Melinda Coates, originally from Mainbrook on the Northern Peninsula. Congratulations to James and Mildred Bungie of Cornerbrook, who celebrated their 60th anniversary this week. Daryl and Joanne Torreville of Rogers Cove, Gander Bay will celebrate their 57th anniversary this Sunday. Congratulations to Gwen and Dawn Tremblett of Labrador City on their golden anniversary this week. Happy 90th birthday to Blanche Hollett of St. John's, who turned 90 June 6th. It was a 90th birthday as well this week for Jean Hilliard. Happy 98th birthday to Samuel Parsons of Norris Arm. He's currently in Browns Arm. Happy anniversary to Jim and Ina Parrott in St. John's, who celebrated their 68th wedding anniversary on the 8th. Happy 53rd anniversary to Charles and Mary Morgan of Seal Cove, Conception Bay South. Happy 66th anniversary to Len and Bernice Parsons of Gander, who will be celebrating on Sunday. Happy 90th birthday this week to Trudy Furneaux. Congratulations to Ada and Clarence Connolly of St. Philip's, now in Kelligrews, on their golden anniversary this week. Happy 61st anniversary to Bob and Melissa Allen of Cornerbrook, coming up this Monday. Happy 50th anniversary to Sylvia and Adrian Mead of Southeast Placentia, who will be celebrating their special day tomorrow. Happy 50th anniversary as well to Munden and Catherine Way of St. John's. Happy birthday to Rita Hamlin of Lassie, who was 94 years old this week. Happy 72nd wedding anniversary to Ross and Louisa Pike from Charleston, who will be celebrating this coming week. A big happy 90th birthday to Ned Decker from Joe Bat's Arm, Fogo Island, who now lives with his youngest daughter in Gander. We're told he's a fan of the show and watches every night. Thank you so much. Birthday greetings to Daphne Earl in Twillingate, who's turning 92 this coming Monday. Happy anniversary to Joe and Phyllis Goss of Spaniards Bay, who will celebrate their 50th anniversary tomorrow. It was a golden anniversary on the 5th for Gerald and Joyce Brown in Joe Bat's Arm. Congratulations. And happy 67th anniversary wishes to Audrey and Leslie Warren from Crowhead, Twillingate, who celebrated on the 5th. And congratulations once again.
So tonight we're going to leave you with some more of that breathtaking, awesome video that we gave you a glimpse of last night.
Yes, the International Ice Patrol allowed CBC cameras to tag along as they flew over the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, they're keeping tabs on icebergs to prevent another Titanic disaster. Enjoy this video and enjoy your weekend.
Good night.